Hello, this is a video on fractions. In this introduction to fractions, I'm going to be using the fraction model applet, which can be found at illuminations.nctm.org. This is the fraction models applet. In this first fraction, we have the fraction 3/4. Let's take a look at the role of the numerator and the denominator. The denominator is the bottom number, and in this case it's 4. That tells us that the whole unit is divided into 4 parts. The numerator is the top number, and that tells how many we have. In this case, we have 3 of the regions shaded. So, for example, I might change my denominator to 5, and now I have the fraction 3/5. The 5 tells me that the whole unit is divided into 5 parts, and the numerator tells me that I have 3. This is an example of a region model, but you can also change to a set model if you want with circles, or if you'd rather have some other shapes, you can change to stars or to butterflies, whatever you want. This is still showing 3/5. I have 3 of my stars shaded, and 5 stars make up a whole. Let's see what happens if the numerator happens to be larger than the denominator. So let's increase the numerator to 4/5, now to 5/5, and now we have the fraction 6/5. So now I have 5 parts still making up the whole, but I happen to have 6 of them. Let's look at this fraction 6/5 back in the region model. Here, 5 parts make up a whole, and I happen to have 6 of them. Here's the length model. And finally, the area model. Now let's go to the fraction 13/5. I can use the slider here if I want to, or I can actually type in a number. This is a very flexible applet. So this is the fraction 13/5. Notice that I have 5/5 here, which is a whole. I have 5/5 here, which is a second whole, and I have 3 more fifths. So this is actually 2 3/5. So the mixed number is 2 3/5. This is a very nice applet because it also shows the decimal and the percent, which we'll be looking at in future videos. Finally, let's notice what happens when I increase the numerator. When I increase the numerator, my number gets larger because I'm increasing the number of parts that I have. If, however, I increase the denominator from fifths to sixths and then to sevenths, notice what's happening when I increase the denominator. The number of parts that make up the whole is getting larger. So now 10 parts are making up the whole, which makes each of those parts smaller, and my number itself is getting smaller. So here is the number 17 over 15, 17/15, and you see that it's much smaller than when I had just 17/5.